got senior linebacker Brock Carmen. Brock's going to recap the San Diego State game, and then we'll take a few questions.
To start off with the defense, on the defensive side of the ball, it definitely wasn't the performance that we wanted, and you're not happy when you have a performance like that against a team like that we were really ready for and wanted to come out and have a big performance against, following a win. And you watch the film and you go back and you try to make corrections and you move on from it. That's really all we can do, and we got a team in Wyoming that'll do a lot of the same things, so you try to get some of those issues corrected and you move on.
What did jump out at you from the film?
Just little things in the run fits that we've just got to clean up and be better with. It's just little things and little details in a team like that, and a running back like that will gash you if you don't do exactly what the defense asks you to do.
How is it, Brockman, mentally to know what you've got to do, prepare, think you've done that, go into the game with that kind of confidence, and then have the result happen? What does that do to you, or what does it do to a team?
It's frustrating, obviously. First thing is it's frustrating, and you hate to work that hard all week and really think you've got a good chance to go in there and stop them and then have a performance like that. So it's frustrating for sure, but the team's not down. The team still knows that we have the potential to fill out a game plan like that. We just didn't execute it that week. So frustrating, but not down for the defense. Still ready to work this week and clean those things up.
Hill doesn't look like the same kind of challenge
Yeah.
as running back as Pumphrey. How do you regard that?
He's definitely a different back. He's a bigger back than Pumphrey, who's kind of the smaller, quicker back, and Hill's a big guy that'll try to run you over and use his power a little more. So they're a different style of running for sure, but same kind of schemes from Wyoming where they're going to try to run the ball at you, just kind of with a different style of back.
Did you get to play much in the Wyoming game last year?
Not a ton.
You didn't play a lot.
Not much last year.
So you had 200 yards against
Yeah,
us last
they
year.
ran well. Yeah, that back's good, and they're even better this year. So we've got a big challenge ahead of us, definitely.
Brockman, just similar question, just how daunting and exciting is it? This is back-to-back weeks you'll be facing the nation's first and second ranked running backs. Just how daunting and exciting is it at the same time?
It's exciting as a defense. We want the challenge every week, so that's something that we can step up to and we can prove a point and have a big. You can have a big game and prove a point against a team like this. So yeah, definitely excited to try to redeem ourselves in the run a little bit this week.
You talked about the run fits. What does that mean?
Just if you're inside or outside a block, or what gap you have specifically, I guess. And it just has to be perfect when you play a team like that. Everyone has to know exactly how they fit against the run and how you fit against those things. And if it's not perfect, exactly perfect, a team like that and an offensive line like that, they'll open up holes, and if you don't fill them, that running back can run. So
This week, watching the Boise State game, which I'm sure you probably watched a little of the Wyoming-Boise State game,
Yeah.
you guys did.
Yeah.
The challenge is Hill, but also the quarterback
Yeah.
is mobile,
Yeah.
but he can throw it.
Yep.
You can tell he's a real leader for their
Right.
football team, the way that Josh Allen plays.
definitely, it seems like that. They've got the run game they can lean on, but they've also got where San Diego State's just going to run it pretty much no matter what. Wyoming can throw it a little bit at you too. They've got some good receivers and a quarterback that can throw it around. So you've got to be ready for both things. We can't just go in thinking, all right, stack the box and we're stopping the run. They've got two aspects of the game that we've got to be ready to defend, I guess.
If you're playing outside backer, do you ever play the tight end? The tight end killed Boise
Yeah.
State. That Hollister guy had a
Yeah.
good game.
Definitely, it's got to be by committee that we cover everything up, and secondary's got to help us in the run, and they've got to help us in the pass against the tight end. So it's just as a whole defense is where we've got to shut them down.
Do you feel that this, the excitement or the enthusiasm for this team kind of has to come from you guys at this
Yeah.
point? You're
Yeah.
not going to play at home only
Yep.
one more time. If you're going to do the things you have to do, you
Yeah.
guys have to generate a lot of the excitement too.
Definitely, it's on us as a team, especially where we're at in the season. It's on us to come together and create that energy and to play off of each other still. that's where the energy's got to come from. It's got to be fun out there for us. So that's got to come from us, and that's our job all week to still keep that energy and then bring it into Wyoming and play with it on Saturday night.
Anything else for Brock?
Thanks, guys.
Okay, we've got senior offensive center Austin Stevens. Austin's going to recap the San Diego State game for us, and we'll take some questions.
All right. Obviously, going back and watching the film multiple times now, we didn't execute very well, and we didn't play very well offensively, and we're going to have to play a lot better to have success. And so moving forward, playing Wyoming this week, we got another very, very good opponent, but it's also a very beatable opponent too. We got to play sound offensively and get things rolling again and get back on track this week.
I kind of said it to Brock the same thing. When you practice during the week and you think you've got a plan and you're all excited to go in against somebody good and you think you can do it, and then it ends up that kind of game, is that really hard to come back from for you and for the team, do you think, Austin?
No, I don't think it is. I think for us, you can learn from a lot of things that you see on Saturday. I'm watching the film multiple times. I mean, guys are always in here watching the film, and so for us, I think it's just believing in ourselves. I mean, know that we can do it. We've done it in the past, and I don't think it's, to see that happen like that, yeah, it's tough, but we got to have short-term memory here and just forget about it. We watch the film, make the corrections, and move on to Wyoming this week.
Austin, there was a time last year in the middle of the season after Boise game, this program was really rolling. What do you think's changed since then?
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. I don't know what it is, but we just got to find our mojo, I think, is the biggest thing. Is you see those guys over there in Laramie are playing with a lot of confidence and with a mojo that they got, and you get that from winning. And I think, not executing and being so close but not pulling those close games out has been tough. But I think, we just got to get back to finding that mojo and finding that way to win. And then I think we can get, we got to get on a roll here to end this season, and we can still have a good year to finish it out strong.
So your gauge of the guys is that everybody's willing to because I also said to Brock, the excitement has to come from you guys.
Yeah.
You've got one more home game, so it's really not going to be a lot of
Yeah.
Aggie fans to help you
Yeah.
out in a lot of these games.
Yeah.
You have to win. You got
Yeah.
to do it yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be road warriors again. And in the past, we've been road warriors, and we just got to, I think that within the team, I think everyone believes in ourselves. I mean, like I said, we're just so close to pulling these games out. It's, we miss something here, or something happens here where it goes our way. Okay, maybe we get rolling. So we just got to find that again. I mean, I think it's simple recipe that it can be found, but we just got to do it, I think, is the biggest thing for us moving forward.
You judge the play of the offensive line game by game. The most recent game, how did that stack up to these other games, or what have you?
I mean, it's obviously not good enough. We got to do better. I mean, up front, we hold ourselves to a high standard in that room, and we haven't been playing up to those standards, and it's all five of us. As an offensive line, you got to play. There's five of you. You got to play as one, and right now we're not doing that. It's somebody different each and every play. But it's also the whole offense as a whole isn't performing as well as we want, and we got to hold ourselves accountable and hold each room to a high standard that has to be met, and they haven't been met. And so that's the biggest thing for us, is just holding ourselves to a higher standard, and maybe holding on to a block longer. We may have to do that for give Kent more time, or make a bigger hole for our running backs. It doesn't matter what it is. We as an offensive line have to find a way to do it, and so that's what we got to do moving forward.
Honestly, I don't know if you can really answer this because I don't know how much you've actually seen of Wyoming's film, but they had pretty similar personnel from last year. When they played you last year, they were missing a few key guys. They had some injuries, but why are they so much better this year with a similar personnel set?
I think that it's just what I talked about earlier, is the mojo. When you get rolling and you're 6-2 and you have things going your way early on in the season and you find ways to win, they have that mojo right now. And I think that's the biggest key, is they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they're believing in themselves. And, I think Coach Wells talked about it earlier in our team meeting, is, they've got 3 or 4 wins, but they've come underneath 7 points. And we have 3 or 4 losses that have come from 7 points or less. So when you win those games and that happens, you kind of gain that confidence and that belief that you can do it. And so that's the biggest thing for them right now, is they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they're playing with that mojo and swag that that teams play with. So I think with that comes what we're seeing from them this year.
Their stats are interesting because they give up quite a few yards and quite a few points, but you look at the red zone stats and they're like 19 out of 26 scores, I think, in there, which is a pretty good mark nowadays in college football. Even that's against any scores. And then they kick a ton of turnovers. They seem to kind of rely on that they're going to make a defensive play somewhere along the way. They seem to be. Are they a really aggressive defense, or what would you say?
I don't know if I think we've seen some of the more aggressive teams already. I mean, you look at Air Force and San Diego State; those are 2 of the top blitzing teams in the conference. And so when it comes to being aggressive, they're not up there with those guys, but they're going to take their chances when they can, and they definitely take their chances more than they did last year. But I think that they're, like you said, they're giving up a lot of yards on defense, but they're finding key ways to turn teams over, or they're getting a stop when they need to. And that's the biggest thing. You look at, that Boise game, it's 28-28, and they need a big play, or they need a stop or something, and they get a safety and a fumble or whatever it was. And so that's the kind of things that they're doing, and they're executing those things at a high level right now, and that's what we got to out-execute them and just be locked into what they do and what they're good at.
Well, you're going to line up across from Appleby, that are nose tackle, who made the sack. He got a tip and an interception against Colorado State, took it back 55 yards. I mean, he's made 2 really big plays for them this year, that guy across.
Yeah, he's a good player. I think that defensively, they're sound, and they do what they do, and they do it well. And so for us, it's just, we saw them last year. We saw those guys. It's pretty much the same front as they played last year against us. Some guys are different, but for us, it's just, I think, competing. Every single play is what you got to do. You can't take a play off. You can't, think that you're not going to be okay, because these are good football players now, and they can play some ball too. And so for us, I think it's just, let's compete and let's see what happens.
Is he a really quick guy? He's not the biggest nose you're going to see.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't dug deep into him yet. It's only Monday, so I start digging in today and tomorrow, really. So I haven't really watched a whole lot, but I think he's going to be stout. He's going to, he plays hard. That's the biggest thing about all those guys, is they're not the biggest guys, but they play with a big heart, and they want to win. And so I think he's a good player. I'm not saying he's not a good player at all by any means, because he is. So I'll look at him and see what we can do. And I've had success against him last year, so we just got to look into that too.
Austin, you're one of the longest
what has being part of this program meant to you?
I think it's meant a lot. You know, they gave me an opportunity to come out here and play, and so to be here and have success and do the things I've done here has been a once in a lifetime opportunity. You don't get this very often, you know, to play Division I football. It's not an easy thing to do at times, and so I've been able to do that, and I've been able to get an education while doing that, and so I think that's the biggest thing is I've graduated in the time I needed to be. I have a diploma from here, and you know, we'll see what happens going forward.
And the fellow seniors in this senior class, what has this group meant to you?
These guys are awesome, you know, especially, you know, Jake and Austin. We've all, you know, we were all here around the same time. Granted, those guys have been here probably a year longer than me because I'm a JUCO guy, but, you know, we all grew together, and that's what makes this journey so special, is just growing together and growing into the guys we've become and the players that we've become. I think it's just, you know, it's been a great experience for all of us, and I wouldn't trade it for anything else out there.
What will you remember most about your time here?
I think the friendships, I'll carry the friendships forever. You know, we'll see. You know, those are the best. They say these are your best friends for life. And so I don't think that will ever change, especially with me and the crew that I have, you know, between living with Jude, Chen and Jake, I mean, Amu and those guys. I mean, they're all close. We're all close-knit bunch. And we do a lot of things together off the field. So I think that carrying those memories between being on the field and off we'll be able to go forward.
Anything else for Austin?
Thanks, guys.
Austin?
Always good.
Okay.
Okay, we've got head coach Matt Wells. We'll recap the San Diego State game, preview Wyoming, and then we'll take questions.
Okay. How's everybody doing? Kurt, glad to have you. It's nice to have the columnists. Well, just in reviewing San Diego State, they're a good football team. They're a very good team. It's one of the better Mountain West teams I've seen since I've been here. They do a great job running the football. They do a great job of stopping the run. I thought their D-line and their O-line played very, very physical. They're good players. They've got good skill, really good skill. We didn't, I'll answer any questions about it, but it's kind of like we're recapping post-game a little bit. But previewing Wyoming, this is a team that, first of all, I have a lot of respect for Coach Bull and that staff. I've said that since they've gotten there because you see what they do on tape and schemes, and they give these guys a chance to win. They've got a tremendous tailback. The quarterback is a very, very good player. He can beat you with his feet or his arm. They got big physical linemen. The two tackles are really big. They have a big wideout that they like to get the ball to, and then Gentry. Both of those guys catch the ball well. Defensively, I see a tough, hard-nosed team. They've upgraded the skill in the secondary. They've grown some younger kids up on the D-line. But it's a team that's been built around stopping the run and running the football and being very physical. But what they've done is they've won 4 games by 9 points or less. So that's given them confidence. I think they're playing with tremendous amount of confidence. And I think the more wins you get, the more that you continue to buy into schemes and the way coaches are coaching you and practicing and all that kind of stuff. And there is I've been there. I want to get back to that. I've been there several years here at Utah State, and I know that feeling, and that's what they have right now. And so very, very tough opponent coming up and playing in a place that, national television audience and a Saturday night crowd, and it'll be loud in Laramie, and it always is, and a great environment to play in. So with that, I'll go ahead and open it up.
San Diego State's lines played physical football. How about your guys that night?
They out-physicaled us, both sides of the ball. Yeah, absolutely. It's disappointing. Yeah. Yep. It's what we pride ourselves on. And we got out physical on both sides of the ball. So give credit where credit's due. It's a very good team that's done that. They've done it to other people. That doesn't matter. They did it to us.
One of your guys that was physical that night, it was good to see him back, was Gage Ferguson. Just how much of a boost, especially considering some of the injuries from last week, is Gage and Down Levy? How nice to have those guys back.
It's nice because they're making plays. They're playing with effort. They're playing with passion. Gage is going to play a whole lot more this week. Being physical, wrapping up, doing what they're coached to do, being where they're supposed to be, and arriving with a bad attitude. When you're a safety, that usually spells, you play good when that happens. And so for that, you'll see Gage a lot more this week. Yeah, he played good.
Isn't that what the two Wyoming safeties are doing? The Wingard and Epps, those two guys.
Yeah, they're two leading tacklers. They're very busy around the box. They get in there to the box, and they're physical guys. And Andrew can run. And we saw that as a true freshman last year. That guy can run. But they're physical, and they're good tacklers.
How do you restore or regain that confidence?
That's the magic question. Winning takes care of that. Kurt, winning helps that. You got to get to that point of when the game's in the ballots and it's getting decided that we make a few more plays than they do. And until you do that, you're going to struggle either against a team like San Diego State, which pulls away, or a team like maybe some of those other three teams that we played that we lost, that we were good enough to stay in the game, but we couldn't either tie it against Boise or couldn't hold off a rally, Colorado State. And that's where we're at right now. So the tape says who we are, and we're not hiding from it, but man, I want that feeling back as bad as anybody. Of winning and making those plays, because talent only takes you so far. We've got enough talent, and there's other teams in this league that have similar talent than us, and you get on a roll, you get a little confidence, and you're starting to win, and that's the magic. It's the magic question, and it's a lethal drug when you get it. Legal drug and lethal drug, NCAA approved when you get it. And man, we're searching for that, and Wyoming has that right now. We need it, and I'm hopeful we find it. We get on a roll, but this is a big game for us this week.
Do you see Wyoming kind of like the Aggies in the third year of Gary Anderson, when we turned it around a little bit, where we found out how to win and started to play better?
Yeah, in terms of that,
yes.
Yeah, I do.
All of a sudden,
But I see them doing it at a heck of a lot tougher schedule than what we had in 2011.
it's not the same league.
It's not even close. I mean, I'd go back to 2011 and 2012 schedule right now. I'd love to have that. Wyoming's doing it against some good people, week in and week out. You didn't have that in the WAC. Let's be real. We didn't have that in the WAC. I see them from us. I mean, they won some games. That Air Force game was a big win for them, and Hawaii in 2011 was a big win for us when we won on the Rock, down all those points at halftime. And man, that you gain confidence. I mean, there were times at the end of the 13 season, end of the 14 season, that we got it too in October and November. They are a very, very confident bunch, as they should be. They've earned everything that they've gotten, and so I do see some similarities in that, because I've been on those rides, and those are fun rides, because your feeling is, man, we just got to get this game to the second half. We're going to find a way to win it, So.
How do you gauge? I mean, every week we probably ask the same question, and it's probably the same. You gauge your guys obviously by how you're around them or whatever. Do you feel like this is becoming a burden? Do you feel like they're struggling emotionally with what's the results on the field, or how do they, I mean, every week you talk about how they practice well,
Yeah.
get things going, but when you go out and you don't get that positive reinforcement, or you don't get that feeling that you got it accomplished in games, is it harder the next time to do it the next week? Or
Yeah,
whatever?
sure is. Yeah. I mean, every time if you get beat and you have to go through another week of negativity coming from the outside or the media or fans or that wears on guys. But I tell you what I haven't seen any give up. I haven't seen, again, I'm gonna praise our guys because at some point this stuff's got to come back around. I mean, off the field issues, hadn't had any. Been good. Coming in late, hadn't had it. I mean, weight room, 6:30 a.m. meetings, you name it. I mean, at some point that stuff's going to start paying off. I truly believe. I think that's one of the things that first starts to show up if a guy's given up or thrown in the towel or whatever you want to say. I mean, we don't have that. So when you say, are the guys hanging in there? Yeah, I think they are hanging in there. Is it tough? You'd better believe it's tough. Yeah, it's hard. I'd much rather coach them to not accept pats on the back after all the wins and get after them pretty hard in that. But we don't have that right now. But I don't feel like there's been any lack of effort. There's been times we've had loafs, but we've had those in wins too. I'm proud of these kids, and I continue to believe in them. And I'm very, very hopeful that we'll have a good week of practice and we'll play well Saturday night. Wyoming's a good opponent. We're going to have to. And it's a big game for us. The rifles, the rifle means something around here to us. So.
Matt, I saw the picture on Twitter of John Shell Walkamore get undergone surgery and it's not
Yeah.
so good. Is there any chance we see him again this season?
No, he's out for the year. Yeah.
How about Jalen Davis?
Not out for the year. Yeah.
Can you tell us what John Shell's injuries were?
Yeah, he had a lower broke his tibia in his lower right leg. I hope that's right. Yeah, double check with that.
So I did see-
He's out for the
I
year.
did see the picture
Yeah.
with you with Brady.
Yeah, we got
moving around a little bit better. That's nice stuff too.
Brady Holt is I just think a testament. First of all, it's a miracle. Let's be real. There's an ultimate physician out there, and I didn't talk to him face to face since Brady's been injured, but we've been praying to him. So, I mean, I've sat there with Brady's family and listened, to guys say he may not live, to if he does, he won't walk. He's going to be paralyzed, and that kid's taking steps. And it's a miracle, and it's awesome to see that. And I know I'm energized when I walk in there. And that was the first time he recognized me. Not yesterday, when did I go in there? Saturday afternoon, yeah. He claps and recognized me as soon as I walked in. And it's pretty cool. It's really, really cool. I was energized by it. And that's real life. And that's, I'm very, very amazed at, him continuing to grind and fight. And I'm amazed at that family's love and care for him. And I just think it's a miracle. Got a long ways to go. He's got a long ways to go, but he is fighting daily, and he's very, very strong. That family's a very, very strong-minded family, and hopefully we'll get him up here to see the team at some point when he can do it physically, and that's in the plans. But man, that's a neat deal.
What about Brooksby's injury? Is he-
Not out for the season.
Okay, so-
Yep.
okay.
This might be a better end of season question, but how do you feel it's worked out with you in charge of the offense this year?
Well, yeah, it's probably a better question at the end of the year, but I mean, I'm going to, you're going to look at wins and you're going to look at stats and you're going to look at different things like that to try to really research or kind of justify doing it again, not justify was it best for us. I still think it was best for our staff at the time that I made the decision. I think it's continued to be the best decision for us today. That's why I haven't changed anything in terms of that. But I think it was best for our team and our staff when we made that decision. And will it be next year or not? I don't know. That'll absolutely get reevaluated in the offseason.
In facing Hill as a running back, he's good like Humphrey, but he's a little
Yeah, completely different. Yeah, you're talking about, a kid that's over 6 foot and he's 200 and I don't know what he weighs, but he is big, thick, and strong. Very good between the tackles. Very thick, strong lowers. Stronger runner. May not have as much lateral quickness as Pumphrey, but I don't know if I've seen many in the country that do right now laterally. I mean, just jump cutting straight sideways and then getting to his top end speed immediately. They're just different types of backs. Brian's a slasher. Brian's a one-cut guy and run through a back shoulder, run through an arm tackle. North and south, but I think he's got good speed too, really good speed. He's, our defense is, it's got a major challenge.
Well, you've struggled both years against him. He's had, 140 and 201, I think, 2 games.
Yeah, when you struggle, that also means a guy does really good. So he's a really good player too.
So you said going off the field at halftime, we're not getting off blocks.
We weren't.
Was that true in the second half? And is it true with this kind of back or not? I mean, the other guy was so quick. It seemed like you have to get off the block immediately.
Yeah. I mean, just defeating blocks, being in the right gap. We got to do a better job of being structurally sound against different types of runs. And I thought there were times that we weren't on defense. Either it was a communication error, or it was guys not being where they're supposed to be. And then at the end of the day, or at the end of that, the whistle, the guy says hut and the ball's snapped. You gotta get off block. You gotta make a tackle. You gotta wrap up. I mean, it's no different than trying to tackle Penny on the kickoff return. We had 7 guys that looked like Wyatt's Little League team trying to tackle him. I mean, we were sliding off. I mean, we're hitting him square flush. You got to tackle. I mean, the ball goes all the way back to the 44. You lose all momentum after a touchdown opening drive touchdown. And then 2 plays later, it's 7-7 on the speed sweep. I mean, when the ball snapped, we have to make plays. I mean, got receivers running behind DBs wide open, overthrowing them. We got drop balls. We got 2-man twist game with 2 O-linemen, and we got guys running open and can't pick up a 2-man twist game. I mean, it's that's the issues on offense once the whistles, the ball snapped, and those are the ones on defense. But we can be better as a coaching staff to put them in a position better during the week of practice, how we communicate it, and we certainly we have to do both of those a lot better this week. This is a really good opponent.
And you mentioned already about Josh Allen. He's a quarterback who, to me, looks like he can, like you said, do both things. But you can tell he's also got something about him to make a play, or he wants the ball, or he wants to go and make that play, or whatever, too. It looks like to me.
Looks like he has a lot of mojo to me. See that in TV copy. You see that in TV game. I saw that during the game. When you start watching it, you're kind of like, this kid's got something to him. And part of playing quarterback's making the 10 around you play a whole lot better. And guys that believe in you, and I think he's certainly got that. And, like I said, they've won 4 games by 9 points or less. And you win some of those close games, and you start getting confident in the guys around you. And the kid's played, the young man, he's not a kid. He's played well. He's played really good.
And then their tight end was great against Boise State, too.
Yep.
They kind of out-tight ended Boise's tight end stuff.
Good tight ends, good fullbacks. And
Are you confident they give up a lot of yards? You confident your offense can move the ball against these guys?
well, I'm confident we can move it. Can we finish it? Can we make plays on third down, and can we finish drives for touchdowns? We didn't make any plays on third down Saturday. When was the game? Friday. Excuse me. Yeah, we made our first third down and we missed the next four third downs. Well, I just remember 4 because then at that point it's like, you gotta adjust the game plan a little bit, and you're not able to run the ball as much. I mean, Coach Long started playing quarters, started playing coverage. He wasn't going to pressure anymore, because he was going to turn it in cover 2 and cover 4, and he knew it. We knew it. We had to throw it, and we couldn't throw it well enough to, come back from 20 whatever points down. So, it's 3rd and 1. It's the next 3 third downs. I mean, we got a guy running down the seam. Got a guy on the edge, trying to run inside zone, read for the same play that was for a touchdown, and we can't make an inch on 3rd and 1. So, I mean, that didn't help our defense getting off that fast either. So.
This particular senior class, what can you say about this group and what they've meant to not only you and
Are you staff or are you part of media?
the media right now?
Oh, you are. You got a seat at the table. Can you repeat the question, please, sir?
What can you say, what has this particular senior class meant to both you personally and the program?
Well, there's a lot of young men that have great stories. There's guys that have been around a lot of wins. They've certainly been around this program in the resurgence and the bowl games. Really besides Travis, they weren't here. They've been in bowl games every year that they've been here, and a lot of them, whether they've come in as junior college players with 3 years to go or 2 years to go, and they've been a part of that. We need to send these guys out the right way, and that'll be part of part of what we're talking about right now, and part of certainly next week. And I know why you're doing this story for next week for Senior Day, and I'm reading right through you right now. But that'll be certainly important, the way we send these seniors out, and it's also, I think, equally important how they play on their way out. This last month of the season, how they play and the legacy that they leave not only as a senior class but as an individual too. So I think there's certainly motivating factors on both ends for this senior class.
5, 10 years down the road, when you think about this group, what will you remember most, or what are some of the fond memories that will come to mind?
When you talk about just this senior class,
Yeah.
well, I will probably think of 2 things. Number one, how they were a part of the wins and some of the big wins and bowl games before that they were seniors. And then quite frankly, I'll probably remember how they finished. I'll probably remember how they finished this last month. When you think of a senior class all by itself, it's usually how they finish. You think of it. Right now, the winningest class in senior class in Utah State football history is 2014. And I can name over half of those seniors right now. You're spitting them out. But you remember how they finished in 2014. And you get on a roll end of October, big win in Provo against BYU, and then the streak at the end of the year during November. A disappointing loss to Boise on the road, and then a bounce back win in the bowl game. You remember how you remember how you finish, and that's usually how senior classes are remembered. Good. Anything else? All right, guys. Appreciate y'all. Absolutely.